I am super duper excited to process my detox with you in real time, because my head is almost feeling like it's like a hamster wheel that just keeps going. Like, that's the only way I can describe it with my processing of what happened this past weekend when I chose to do a social media detox. So this was an intuitive download that I had for a client, and it was so clear to me. And then the intuitive download to follow that was do it with her. And so I thought to continue to connect with her and to continue my own naked method process, it doesn't hurt to do it. Something will show up. And so I was really actually genuinely excited about it, and it felt very clear and decisive, like, of course I'm going to do this. And when I am in that mode, magic happens. Like, when I am just quick and decisive and there's no like, should I not, like when it's just like, this is what I'm doing, like that, there's been so many moments over my life that I've been in that energy, and magic always happens because I believe I'm trusting my inner guidance of like, of course I do this. Of course I do whatever it is. So it was not planned. It was just like, okay, I'm going to do this. Of course I am. So I've been processing everything that went down, and I'm continuing to process, but I thought it could be really beneficial for somebody out there to share the behind the scenes. So this is going to probably be like a very raw episode, and we'll see where it goes together. I don't have this big, long list of things to share with you. I'm literally just going to share my heart, and we're going to see what comes up together. And so I wanted to give a shout out to Kristen Rourke with Busy Mom Bod. She is an amazing sponsor of the Wealthy Mama movement, an amazing friend, client, all of the things. I've been so proud of her. If you have not gone through her squat challenge and you are looking to find very quick, effective things that you can do to gain more energy, to feel, better about your mind, body, soul, she is a great resource for you. And I'm just incredibly proud of her. So make sure you check out Kristen, because you taking care of you is a huge, vital part of being a human, being a mom, being a business owner. And if you choose to go on your own version of the naked method, it's like a non-negotiable. I am on my treadmill right now. I wish I could be outside, but it's a little rainy, yucky here. So I was like, okay, I'm meant to be inside. And it's so interesting because I didn't know that it was going to rain today. And I thought, you know what? I'm just creating like an evening where we're home and it's raining, and I like organized the basement a little bit, because it's like being in a basement where it's like dark and dreary isn't very motivating when it's like nice and sun shining out. And so it's just so interesting that when I went to go pick up the kids, it started raining, and I was like, oh, be careful what you wish for, because now it's raining. So let's get to it, shall we? I'm probably gonna get hot, but I was a little cold, so I put on this little like cute shawl, little jacket here. It has like a hood. Now I'm pretending I'm an influencer, avoiding the conversation. So let's not do that. Okay. So I first want to quickly say, what is the naked method? Because I'm getting a lot of questions about it. So it is my version of a minimalist journey, because when you are layered up with so much stuff, so much on your calendar, so many tasks, so many other people's opinions, it's hard to live a very authentic life. And equally, it's so easy in a consumer-based world to buy a bunch of stuff, to add a bunch of stuff to your calendar. We don't want to have FOMO, right? We want to go do all the things and be with all the people and and say yes to all the opportunities. And what tends to happen is we're so overwhelmed that we can't even do our soul's mission here when we're on the planet. And so I have been unraveling so much of my own doing for about a year now. And so the naked method is what I am calling this journey. It just came to me like probably about a month ago of what the name is for me, but I wanted to describe it in layman's terms for you of it's my version of becoming a minimalist. If you told me today, like, Nellie, pack up all your stuff and go travel the world, I would be so excited. Like, if my husband came to me and he was like, we're selling everything and we're pulling the kids out and we're gonna like go travel the world and we're gonna homeschool them and we're just gonna like live off the earnings of our home and just like enjoy life, I would be like the happiest freaking human, which shows me how little I really need, how little I even want, to be honest, when it comes to like stuff. I am not by no means a hoarder. However, as I've been going through the naked method journey, layer by layer by layer by layer, what I have realized is even not being a hoarder, I have so much stuff that I do not need, that I don't even want. And it was consuming me. Like, I have literally dwindled down so much, and there's just the last little bit, that is getting picked up before summer break as far as stuff. I have also really created what I call a naked budget. So our home is very naked. Our budget is very naked by design. My task list is getting more naked, more naked, more naked. My whole physical being is very naked. I took my extensions out because my hair finally got over my ears, and so it doesn't feel as awkward, and it's just continuing to grow, which I think is honestly so beautiful. As I'm on this journey, like I shared, I've been on this journey for over about a year, I would say, without knowing myself calling it the naked method. So I started the naked method without really calling it that. I just knew I wanted to feel better. And in order to feel better, I knew I needed to really like shake things up. So it started very light. I do want to make this a book. Like, I'm genuinely feeling called to like work through it first as a human. So I'm going to share more in real time ongoing. And once I feel like I've gotten to a point where I'm ready to like teach it, I will put it into a book. That's at least my intention. So that is the intention, and we'll see where it goes. If you want that, let me know, because that is motivating to know that someone would want to read it. And the book would be very naked, so it wouldn't be like this huge thing that you would need to, you know, like buy and then never consume, because that would not be, you know, that would be against the whole method. So anywho, so I've been going on this naked method. I'm already getting hot. I've been going on this naked method for about a year, and did it before I even knew what it was called. Well, I made the name up, but I did it before I had a name for it, because I just knew I wanted to feel lighter. I wanted to feel more free, emotionally, physically, even financially. I just wanted to be and feel calmer, more peaceful. So I knew I had to change so much in order to get a different result. Because there are people out there that are wildly famous, wildly successful, wildly wealthy, but they are go, 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 go. And I think for a long time, I subscribed to that is the way I need to do it. Like, that is the only way. This is like, I'm sharing my philosophy, my old philosophy. And so it's so easy to fall into that way of being when you desire more money, more recognition, more. thinking that's the only way to get it, right? Like almost like if there's only one way to go to Florida, even if you don't want to even if you don't want to go through the twisty like turns in the mountains, if you know that's the only way to get to Florida, then you're gonna do it if that was the only way. But there isn't. You can get on a flight for 2 hours nonstop and get to Florida versus driving, right? And so I've had to really even undo my thinking of, yes, I want to create massive impact. I know I'm destined to create massive impact, no matter what any negative belief says. Like my soul knows these things were placed on my heart to share with as many people as I possibly can, and equally that it doesn't have to be at the expense of me as a human. And I've really, really been working through believing that more and more and more, and knowing and trusting that there is a different way that I can do things and still accomplish everything that I'm wanting to accomplish. And so, like I mentioned, my physical appearance, like I took my hair extensions out to let it grow. I have no nails. I have no lashes. If I wear makeup, it's very simple. It's not over the top. My wardrobe is super duper simple. It's getting even more simpler in this next process that I'm going through. So I'm creating the naked method in real time based on my intuition, documenting it in real time. Some of it I'm sharing, some of it I'm not just yet, because I want to go through it so I can articulate a lot of it. But I am documenting it more and more and more. So, like I mentioned, the detox. Let's process this together. I understand the irony of me going live and sharing this. So I first want to say, social media is not a bad thing. I love social media. I love it, what it's been able to do for me as a human, me as a business owner. I don't not love social media. Again, it can become challenging when you believe that the only way to more success, more impact, more wealth is to go, to always be on, to always be available, respond back as quickly as you can. And what starts to happen is then I push it away. I'm like, this does not feel good. This does not feel good. I'm gonna cry. This does not feel good. I can't, I'm not a puppet. I'm not a robot. As much as I want to respond back and always be on and always be available and coach for free and give advice for free, I'm one person. I'm a human being. I am a human freaking being. And sometimes I don't feel that way. And that is no one's fault because I am responsible for my own boundaries. But I want people to like me so much. I want to be liked so much to the point where I have sacrificed my own well-being to the expense of other people liking me. Other people thinking, she is so awesome. Oh my gosh, she is so, so awesome. She's so giving, right? All of the things. I just want the praise. I want the recognition. I want to make people happy. And I don't think that those are bad things either. However, it can be a very, very dangerous, slippery slope when it becomes to the point where you forget what makes you happy. Or maybe you don't even forget, but you don't have the time. You don't have the energy. I have worked out more during the naked method than I've ever worked out before in my life. Even when I was going through my big health and fitness journey, I'm working out more now. It's pretty close because I was really consistent then, but now it's so much more for me. In my health and fitness journey, it became a business by accident. And so then it became, again, kind of performing and becoming, almost like a robot of oh, okay, I'm supposed to work out because that's people need to see me work out. And, you know, I actually left that part of my journey behind because of that reason. I felt like a robot. I felt like I had to do these things in order to make money. And now I'm signing up for a full marathon because I fucking want to do a full marathon. I've always wanted to do one. I wanted to grow out my hair, so I chose to grow out my hair. Like, the structure of my budget has been by design. Like, Boone is coming home full time for the summer. Emma's coming home full time for the summer because of the Naked Method. Like, because of this process that I have done, like I have put myself through, and by choice, of course, but like everything has been stacking. Everything has been just like literally compounding in the best way possible. Like, I just get hotter and hotter and hotter. Like, I tell my husband, I'm like, you're not gonna be able to handle me soon because I just keep getting hotter. And I like tried to crack his back the other day, and he's like, you're getting too skinny. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like looking so amazing. Anyways, but again, kind of joking to avoid the deep conversation. So we'll get back there. We'll get back to the deep conversation. So anyways, this is a process, and I didn't start with the heavy, deep stuff first. It started with the clearing of the home. This has ebbed and flowed. I didn't like force myself like, your house must be decluttered by XYZ date. Like, you just heard me say, there's still like a pile of stuff that needs to go. And like, the interesting part about the Naked Method for me is the more free I feel, the more I want to let go. Write that down. The more free I feel, the more I want to let go. Meaning, yeah, you really don't need that. You really don't need that. You really don't need that. Like I shared, if my husband came to me and said, fuck it, let's sell everything or donate everything, get in the car and go, I would literally not even question him. I would be like, I hope he watches this, because I would literally be like, okay, where are we going? Or you don't even have to tell me. Like, let's go. Like, YOLO. Like, let's fucking go. And so it's just made me realize we are actually so much more wealthier than we give ourselves credit for. It's just maybe not in your bank account. And equally, wealth is not just money, it's time. So the less I have on my schedule, the happier and calmer I feel. And so I haven't really even talked about the detox yet. So let's get back to the detox, shall we? So the detox. My client, I encouraged her to do it. It was an intuitive download. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to do it with you. It'll be good for me too. And so it was like a way to connect with her, and also like intuitively, it's like maybe you have this download to also like kick your butt in gear too. So from Friday night until Monday morning, I was not on Instagram and I was not on Facebook. I know I don't get on TikTok. Our team repurposes my content there. But so from Friday night until Monday morning, I did not scroll. I did allow myself to go into Facebook Messenger because I do have some commitments there, and I didn't want to not check in at all. That did not feel fair to the commitments that I have in Facebook Messenger to a few groups that I lead. So I lightly went in there, loved on them, let them know that what I was doing. I let my clients know, hey, I'm going to be off social media this weekend, but drop your questions and I'll go live on Monday. So anyways, Friday night at 8:30 p.m., I went to bed. I put on my weighted blanket, which if you do not sleep with a weighted blanket, one of my best recommendations. I have literally changed my life with a weighted blanket. I'm not even joking, because think about it this way. It does get a little hot, so if you run a little hot when you sleep, I will be real with you, you'll probably want to be naked. Hey, the Naked Method, right? You'll probably want to be naked underneath the blanket. I actually run pretty cold, typically. I'm getting my blood work checked during the Naked Method. That is on my list, because I think there may be something there. But anyways, I get pretty cold. So the weighted blanket for me and a night hypnosis. and a really nice pillow. If your man or significant other does not know what to get you for Mother's Day, let's get you that, because literally a weighted blanket and a really nice pillow will change your life, because the naked method is built on sleep to me, because you cannot think properly and go on the naked method if you are not getting quality sleep. Now, I equally know the irony in that when you're a mom, like Boone last night, for example, woke up at 2 a.m. ready to party for an hour and a half, and I could not get him back to bed. So when I say good sleep, it's whenever you can get good sleep. So I understand, and I'm in a similar season where it's going to be a little hit or miss. So when we can, let's make it count. And the quality of the sleep is key. So a weighted blanket, when you sleep, I believe, I am not a doctor, but I believe psychologically, the weight on top of you actually makes you feel safe. And when you're sleeping and you have that feeling of safety, adding the night hypnosis. So when you are asleep and the night hypnosis is just lightly going on your phone, on your nightstand. If your partner sleeps with you, it will subconsciously go into their mind too, in the best way possible. If we're gonna brainwash ourselves, it might as well be good things, positive things. And 90% of our thoughts and our actions are subconscious, believe it or not. So you doing a night hypnosis is one of the best things that you can do. You don't have to do it every night, but when you can do it more often than you don't do it, it will change your life forever. You will start to make different decisions. You will start to feel different. It is like by far one of my easiest hacks, one of my secret sauces. You can literally go into YouTube and type in positive night hypnosis, money night hypnosis, losing weight night hypnosis. So look for one that relates to something that you're working on. The word hypnosis and night is key because it will be long and it will literally change your life. Now, it does not replace going to a certified hypnosis. That will also change your life. I have a few amazing contacts that I know, like, and trust. So when you're ready for that, let me know. But changed my life to the point where, like, I want it more. And I've even encouraged my husband of like, hey, I think that this could really serve and support you too. And he's like, I'm open to it. And I'm like, yes, awesome. That's all I need, as long as you're open to it. So anyways, I hope you have your notebook and you're taking notes, because this is gold. This is gold. Okay, so 8:30 Friday night, I went to bed by choice. Kids were already in bed. They were getting a good night of sleep. Hubby was hanging out downstairs. I was like, I'm going to go to bed. He was like, I think that's a great idea. I was like, thank you. I got the best sleep I've gotten in so long. And I really believe, like, yes, the weighted blanket was absolutely a part of that. The night hypnosis, a part of that. But I've been doing those things pretty regularly. I think the added little ingredient was clocking out. Clocking out for the first time. Fully clocking out. Like, I take breaks from my phone all the time. Like, I'll hide my phone, but it's for like 2-3 hours. So it's like short little bursts. Mentally deciding, hey, I'm doing a detox, I won't be on social media, felt like a really clear boundary that even if no one paid attention to, it was more for me than anyone else for accountability. I knew I would follow through, but like I wanted to make sure, like, make that clear boundary. And so making that clear, publicly known boundary, I think really allowed my brain to just go, oh, thank God. We can let go for a little bit. And I have noticed a similar feeling when I'm on vacation. When I'm on vacation, my husband jokes, when I'm on vacation, the first day we're anywhere, whether it's like, whoo! I almost fell there. When we're on vacation, whether it's like a tropical place or like Vegas, he jokes with me because I'm like a grandma the first day. I'm like yawning. I'm like, I'm so tired. Whether there's a time change or not, I am so physically and mentally and emotionally exhausted on the first day of a vacation that we don't really ever plan anything. We'll like go to a nice early dinner, like Vegas, for example. Vegas is like a 3-hour time change, which isn't huge, but here's what I think is the reason why. When I'm on vacation, it's a similar feeling where it's like, okay, thank God you can let go. You have no kid responsibilities on this type of vacation. You're clocked out of work. Everyone knows that you're away. You're with your man. Even if I'm alone, I have a similar like exhaustion feeling. And I just sleep. And I get such good sleep because I feel like I can let go. Like I feel like I can let go. And so I experienced that even though I wasn't on vacation. I experienced that Friday night. And I woke up feeling calm and peaceful and centered, like more than I ever have. Like I consider myself a very centered, grounded person, and when I'm not, I can get myself there pretty quickly. But I felt it so easily. That's the difference. I'm like processing in real time with you. That was the big difference. I woke up, this is the big one. I woke up and didn't immediately feel like, oh my gosh, okay, all right, I've got to be on, let's go, all right, I'm live, hi, I'm here to serve the world. Like I felt like a human being. I felt like a human. And I felt like a calm human. And I had my kids home all day. My husband had to work overtime. I had my kids home alone. We played. I cleaned up the house. We just enjoyed each other's company on Saturday. Saturday was a very chill vibe, very relaxing for the most part. My husband did get in a car accident when he was coming home, but he is okay, which thank God. So we I felt present for him too, which I loved because he was working through stuff, and so I was able to be there and be present for him. Again, everyone's okay. So Saturday night, we just took the night to chill. Kids went to bed. And so I worked on my website a little bit for the business, but nothing crazy. And I wanted to do that. And then Sunday, I felt this immense amount of peace again. And mixed in there was also moments of time where I did not feel safe. So I'm going to share that too, because I think it's important to acknowledge all of that. I'm going to stop my treadmill for a second so I don't trip on myself. So in the midst of all the peace and the calmness, I want to be real with you. Where there were moments of like, oh, this feels too good. This is something I work on with a lot of clients. And it's such a real feeling. This feels too good to the point where it does not feel safe. And I felt like, oh my gosh, I need to be reaching out to a bunch of people. I need to be doing a lot of things on my to-do list. And I just had to check myself and be like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So there was that moment. I also have a lot of personal stuff that I've been working through, just emotionally from my past. So a lot of that showed up because I didn't have anything to distract me, which I knew some stuff would show up. It's the shadows. If you've ever done shadow work, it can be really, really powerful because when we take away our vices, if you will, and we just sit still, most people are terrified to be alone, to sit still, to not be busy, because they are subconsciously terrified of the shadows of what's going to show up. I knew there was going to be shadows that showed up. So there was definitely some tears because I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that shadow was there, right? I didn't know that it was there. AKA I was distracting myself from it. It's a lot easier, less painful to distract ourselves from our shadows rather than shining light on our shadows. But the beautiful part about shining light on our shadows is we can shed the shadow, which is a part of the naked method. So I knew, I had a hunch that there would be some shadow work. So I journaled a lot. I allowed whatever was going to show up to show up. I have a very challenging relationship with my parents. And that showed up for me because a big name that I admire lost her mom. And I was watching a YouTube video from her sharing how sad she was that her mom passed away and that her mom and her had a very challenging relationship. And on her YouTube video, she said, if you have a challenging relationship with your mom or anyone that you love, reach out, like just reach out. And I immediately did not agree with that because it has been a challenging relationship. But then I just allowed myself to be in the shadow of like, okay, well, what would it look like? And so I still feel very unclear on that answer. I was even just talking to my husband tonight about that and crying. So like the processing and the shadow work is not just like this like one and done thing. I had a very deep conversation with a girlfriend this morning about my detox. We got like real deep and she was sharing some stuff with me. And those are like like I'm not afraid of tough conversations anymore. I'm not afraid of shadow work. I'm not afraid of being real and honest with people that I love. It's taken a lot to get here. I prefer to lean in rather than lean out, as long as the other person is willing to lean in. When someone else is not willing to lean in, I do have a different response because relationships they're a two-way street, and it's not about keeping score, but it is about lean in, lean out, lean in, lean out. And again, it's not about, oh, you leaned in, now it's my turn to lean in. But in order to have a super healthy relationship with yourself or anyone else, you know, both parties need to lean in and to be open and honest so you can actually have a healthy relationship. And a lot of people, myself included, have had to learn what is a healthy relationship if you haven't always been around it. And so I've had to learn how to have that and what it is and what it isn't. And so like there is that balance there, regardless if someone is family or not. I have to be very mindful of who gets my energy and why do they get my energy. And so I've been working through that. So I share that with you because there is still fogginess. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to allow that to be there. I'm going to allow that to just work itself out. Again, when I decide something, I decide. But I can't force the decision. So I will lean in to like whatever it is, whether it's a shadow or not, but I'll lean into it and be like, okay. And then if it feels intuitive to like lean out, I'll lean out. So that's how that feels. Where it's like, okay, I leaned in, I did some journaling, I talked to my husband, like I talked to even a girlfriend about it, and it still feels foggy. It feels muddy. It feels like I'm unsure. And that's okay. So let's lean out from that and let's lean into something else. So another thing that showed up for me during my detox that's more like the shadowy stuff was, okay, I have really cared a lot about what people think of me. It's still showing up, if I'm being completely honest, because I had the thoughts of like, wow, you're doing this detox. Like, is anyone missing you? Like, is anyone thinking about you? And I had to stop myself because I'm like, okay, that's your ego talking. It's gonna be okay if no one thinks about you. Like, that's not their responsibility. Like, does it feel nice when people think of us, or, you know, are concerned about us, or are curious about what we're up to? Of course, like, we're human beings. We want and we crave that connection. But I had to like check my ego because I was like, okay, the world does not revolve around you and it's gonna be okay. So that showed up for me, which also made me realize, okay, for how much time you are on social media, this is me, like I'm talking about myself, how much time I'm on social media, do I need to be on it that much? Like, I truly crave connection, but I can send you a DM and we can connect there. I equally can text or telegram. I telegram my clients. So like, although I crave connection, I don't need to be scrolling social media. Like, being a content creator is a part of my role, but scrolling social media is not. And when I think about the amount of time I scroll, because it's easy to do, I even found myself over the weekend going like to the app, but then the app wasn't there because I removed it, which was interesting to me as well. So I've just been checking myself of like, what if you were so much more intentional with the connections you want to really spend time developing, and it's not how you do that is not by scrolling. And how much more time would you have to devote to your family, your health and well-being, the naked method, writing the book, right? Like creating assets that can change the world. So we have a team meeting tomorrow because I really want to discuss the evolution of our branding, not even our branding, our marketing. And what I mean by that is like how I show up. And what I mean by that is how often I show up. When, like, I don't want the feeling of people being, I'm trying to feel like how I should word this. It does not feel good to me for people to be like, are you going to respond yet? Are you going to respond yet? Like, I understand people are excited. I even had this in the nonprofit organization that I was running since 16 years old to leading up to childbirth. I never felt like I was good enough, if I'm being honest. I felt like no matter how fast I responded to people, how much money I raised, like it was just never enough, which is a childhood wound for sure, but it just kept getting reaffirmed there. And I'm seeing that showing up in my online business. Like, you can produce, there's no amount of money, or excuse me, there's no amount of content that you can produce that it will be enough if that's the game that you're trying to chase. I could respond back to you instantly and it still not be fast enough because there's only one me. And so I want to put down that I must produce a shit ton of content and reply back to everyone immediately. Like, I want to put that down because I am a human. And if I'm truly going to preach and teach and be the naked method, that isn't the naked method. The naked method is I am going to produce assets that can help impact this world. But to get me, like, and this is not meant to feel or be like an ego moment, but to get me, like me as a human, looks very different than watching and consuming my content. In order for me to impact the world in the way that I want and be the mother that I want to be and the human being and the wife that I want to be, there needs to be stronger boundaries. And when I have put those stronger boundaries in place, people don't like it. And it hurts my heart, if I'm being honest, because and this is not their fault, but like they push back, they don't like it. And this hasn't been everyone, but when I have put those boundaries in place, it's not always well received. And it's truly because I'm a human being. I can't respond back to thousands of people immediately. But I think people forget that there's other people and that's not their job. But like, I've just tried so many methods of boundaries and making people happy has been the biggest thing that I've struggled with, because I want to genuinely impact people's lives. I want to make people happy. I want them to feel good. I want them to feel noticed. And also, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I never will be perfect. And so the minute I mess up, or it takes me longer and people don't love it, it is a big trigger that I'm still working through. It feels like I get one strike and I'm out, to be honest. And this isn't with everyone, but it, like, in the way that I'm operating, I honestly think subconsciously I'm not growing the mission and the vision and the dream that I have in my heart because of that. Because it's like, well, that's just going to keep happening. Like, this is the subconscious belief. And so in order for that to be resolved, the boundaries need to be more communicated. They need to be more clear. People need to understand and be okay. And if they're not, then I'm not the person for them. And I get to be okay with that too. And so there's a lot of work that I get to do around that, because I love conversation. I love girl talk. I love brainstorming. Again, to the default of, I would literally be in my DMs 24/7. I would take every coaching call that I possibly could, whether I was going to get paid or not. People have unfriended me because I have put boundaries in place, and very kindly. And it just genuinely hurts my heart, because I feel like I don't feel like a human being. Like, people don't always see me as a human. And it's not my responsibility for other people's actions, but it still does hurt, because I never want to hurt anyone. I never want to tell people no. But the biggest gift that I received doing the detox, I felt like the most present mom. Like, I was able to meal prep. We had dinner at the kitchen table. There were giggles. Like, I feel like I didn't miss the blessings right in front of me. And my husband, like, he knew that I was doing the detox, but he even gave me feedback. He's like, you felt more present. And no matter when we get to the end of our life, whenever that is, no one has, a crystal ball that can say when it is. So I don't know when the end of my life is. I don't know when the end of your life is, but I'm going to guarantee that none of us are going to get to the end of our life, whenever that is, and go, you know what? I wish I would have scrolled social media more. I wish I would have been less present with my family. I wish I would have spent less time on my health and fitness, or my well-being, or building assets that can change the world. So I have had a reality check this past weekend, because although I love scrolling and I love connecting, I really believe that there gets to be more clear boundaries moving forward for myself. And I get to be okay. I get to get okay with not everyone agreeing with that. And that has probably been, if I'm being honest, the hardest part of the Naked Method for me, is not everyone has been down with me going through this process, even before there was a name for it. And that's okay. That is okay. Because getting the feedback from my husband was all I needed, to be honest. And I feel like I honestly feel like, especially growing the Wealthy Mama movement, I feel like I would be an extreme out of integrity if I didn't have that. Like, if my husband didn't experience the full woman, if my kids didn't experience the full mama, I feel like I'm living a lie, like, to be honest. So me being the best human I can be, the best wife I can be, the best mother I can be, is only going to literally positively spill over into everyone that we come in contact with the Wealthy Mama movement, whether that's in our programming or on social media, even if they're watching a video, even if we never have a two-sided relationship. I believe in my heart of hearts I can still change 1 million lives. I've read so many books of authors that have changed my life and they have no idea who I am. So I know that it's possible. I've listened to podcasts that have changed my life and they have no idea who I am. I have been at conferences where there's a speaker on stage and I'm literally crying like a little baby, and they've changed my life and they have no idea who I am. And so I get to let go of trying to be popular. I get to let go of trying to make everyone happy. And not even happy, because I like to make people happy, but everyone to like me. I get to let go of that and chasing that and prioritizing that and allow my assets to change a lot of lives. 1 million lives is my goal for however long I'm on this planet. I desire to impact 1 million mothers' lives. I want them to see a normal chick that is flawed and totally imperfect, but yet despite her circumstances, but despite her challenges, has been able to persevere and change a lot of lives. So why not her? And she reads a book, she sees me on stage, she watches my videos, she listens to our podcast, maybe she's in our membership, but the direction that I'm taking the Wealthy Mama movement is less about human two-way interaction, unless you're in our membership. So my big vision for our membership long term is there's all of these beautiful assets that I and the team have built that are there and available to you when you want them. And then once a month, there is this big money-making virtual event. I'm not even wanting to call it a training. It's a party. It's a virtual event that everyone comes together. They wear Wealthy Mama gear. Their babies are on the Zoom calls. We're just literally vibing together. We're working through challenges. We're celebrating the wins. We're literally brainstorming together, all the things that I crave, but it's in a container that's once a month. So it's if you desire that two-way camaraderie and interaction, that's how you get it. If not, you can read a book of mine, you can buy a course of mine, you can, watch, videos of mine, listen to the podcast, and that's beautiful and amazing. And tons and tons of continued free, very affordable resources, but not at the expense of me as a human. And that's no one's responsibility. And I hope that it blesses lots of people's lives, and moms tell other moms, and those moms tell other moms, and you've got to be a part of the Wealthy Mama movement. And eventually the right people come into the membership. It's trusting that I don't have to sacrifice myself to get that, to create that level of impact. And I think it really stems from creating overflow. So the more overflow I have, I really do believe I can get to that. So I've just been checking in with myself and okay, in order to do it that way, what do I get to change? What do I get to speak up for myself? What do I get to communicate to our students? Because again, as we grow students, people constantly messaging me and asking questions it's not feasible. There's just only so much of me to go around. So them coming to the once a month party is totally feasible. We can totally get through a lot of questions, and everyone is so much more alike than they are different. So one person's question would honestly probably accomplish so many people's question type of thing. So the detox is still going because I'm still creating the breakthroughs and the ahas. And so I have really noticed, okay, I believe less scrolling is key. It's time for mama to put her blinders on. I can be in the DMs connecting with people. I do not need to be scrolling. When I'm on social, my job truly is to create valuable pieces of content that help you along your journey. That's my job. My job is not to scroll. And so I'm really raising my standards because although I love scrolling, I can get the same type of energy by checking in with people. by go creating assets. I do not need to be scrolling. And I think that there can always be like a time limit on it too, but it's just being very, 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 very mindful of it. And I think that more detoxes, like intentional detoxes along the way, are key, because I just had so many breakthroughs that I think are insanely valuable. And that was only one weekend, right? Like one weekend. So team meeting is tomorrow about discussing our marketing. So we'll see from there. So to be continued, but I hope something in this is valuable for you, because that's my whole goal. I'll continue to share about my naked method. And eventually maybe there'll be a book. We'll see. That's what feels good right now. So we'll just keep leaning into that. But in the meantime, I'll keep sharing about it, and happy to answer any and all of your questions. Love you.